Hello, everybody, and finally welcome to the International Racing League. Round 7, season number 6 at the Bahrain International Circuit. And finally, I'm ready to give you a bit of full racing action. As I'll just get these to the boys in the server. And there we go. So, we'll get underway for you, and let's get on to the racing action as soon as possibly can. Here we go, we'll get into the game. As at the moment, it's looking like Chad is at the top of the times. And it's Un in the Haas, then Strike Moist in the other Williams, who just goes to the top of the times in the Williams to make it a Williams 1-2 with a 27.714 to his teammates 27.735. And it's the Haas in P3 with a 27.811. As this could get very, very interesting and very dramatic closer to the end of qualifying, but still 6 minutes remaining. And the top 5 with Ashtube, Iki, Un, and both the Williams on the front row. But it's all to change. 27.7s so far for the front two. And tell you what, wasn't supposed to be in this quick in real life. We're still in the 30s. That is just the track abrasion for you. But still, it's a lovely evening on a beautiful Sunday after the Formula 1 event just happened. And we're coming here to the International Racing League for some more action at the Bahrain circuit. We've got to be careful and realise that today, it's not just any old round, it's round 7 Bahrain, which means it is the free tyre compound race, which means every driver has to pit twice for the mediums, the hards, and the softs, all in one race, which is going to cause a bit of drama. This guy, Speedy Spud, has not still yet set time in the Aston Martin. He's still heading round the second sector on his outlap so far. ARL_33 also still 29.3 at the back of the pack, invalidated his latest run. And at the moment, we'll run with Asher. I think it's coming across the line, as I don't think he is on a lap so far. I think he is actually using a bit of batteries on. No, recharging. So just completed his latest flying lap as he heads past turn number 2. But Bahrain, a track I very much love, and I'm very excited to be commentating over it for the first time in the International Racing League. So yeah, let's see what happens out on the racetrack, as I think so far Ashtube may be on the lap, using a bit of battery through the second sector as he heads into turn number 8. Let's see what he can do and see how competitive this lap time will be for that Visa Cash Out Racing Bull car, as you fly into arguably the 2 trickiest corners out of the whole calendar, turn 9 and turn number 10. Very hard in the braking zone, especially if you have no ABS on. But so far, looking pretty decent through the middle sector. Use a lot of battery, though, on the run down to turn number 11. And the long right-hander at turn number 12 of this 5.4 kilometre circuit. And he's still 2/10 up, so this could be a good lap for Ashtube as he heads into the final section, but still use a lot of that battery in that first sector, which could heavily impact the final straight. As it comes to the line, using the rest of the battery, he's going to come into the pit lane. As he's going to stay out, I think he's going into the pit lane. I think he just realised that wasn't good enough and not enough battery to the line there. But here we go then. With, pretty sure ARL might just be on lap. Nope, come into the pit lane. But PRS is on a lap. So let's have a look. We've got support for Charlie in the chat. I'm guessing that's P2. Jazz in the Williams. So we'll support him for Briz in the chat as well. But I'm all ready for this racing action, and as we'll see what can happen out on the racetrack today. But PKM, I'm guessing it is in the Red Bull. Joining late in qualifying, 2 minutes 30 to go, and pretty much a 2-lap shootout for the Red Bull to get that car high up on the grid and easier that higher up in the Grand Prix for this free triple tyre compound race and event. So nicely on the power at turn number 2, in through the gears, now up 6th gear as he gets that DRS wide open and foot flat to the floor, heading wide and in. Bit hesitant to turn in there. Obviously, I think a bit of front lock action there for the compound, but still, first sector, it's a 28.5. It says it's purple so far for the Red Bull, and into turn number 8, heavy on the brakes, get the car rotated, slightly missed the apex there, did the Red Bull car, but so far, heading through turn number 9, look pretty decent lap, pretty tidy lap, as it's been his only lap, get warmed up and get used to the fresh Bahrain circuit out there and try and challenge the top runners. But what can TKM do in this final split? And heading into the left-hander in 5th gear, slowly getting on the power once again as we head around the challenging, tricky, long right-hander. Got to keep it in there as heavy on the brakes once again when you head to turn 13. Through a medium speed corner into 4th gear on the power once again, using a bit of battery on the exit, and got some purple middle sector as well. Is this actual times? Because at the minute it's looked a pretty clean lap, but is he going to contend for pole position today for TKM? He joined late in qualifying, but can the Red Bull shoot to the top of the times? He's going to get a DRS wide open, he's used all that battery and goes into P5. Not too bad for TKM in the Red Bull, as I'm pretty sure Iki is the next man to set another lap time in the Ferrari. Can he challenge for the front row on this next and final running qualifying? 50 seconds to go as we're about to go checkered flag on the racetrack in Sakia. But Iki, can he go further up and challenge the likes of Charlie and Strike Moist at the top of the times at the minute on provisional pole? It's purple in the first sector as we're heavy on the brakes into turn number 8 into 5th gear, and fast on the power as soon as you possibly can as you get your traction down into turn 9 and turn 10 on the brakes once again, wide as you can on exit there, and on the power once again with the DRS wide open as we head under the Aramco barrier and into the fast left-hander on the curb on the entry, and getting on the power once again, using a bit of battery there on the exit at turn number 11 as well, so going to have less battery to use in the final section. But still, a 10th up so far is the Ferrari, and that might just be enough to put himself on the front row. If he gains a bit more in this final sector, could challenge the Haas at least to get into P3. Let's see what he can do into the final main corner, into the final braking zone at turn number 14, on the exit, past turn number 15, using the rest of that battery. Not used a lot to play with, as Oon goes to the top of the time with a 27.5. Iki can't improve, as Strike and Charlie are both on lap times as we head into the final sector split. He is 7 seconds down, so not improving, not going to be able to set another lap time. So Charlie is out of the running, but Strike Moist is still in the running in Sector 2, and he's 3.5 tenths up. He's lighting the mini sectors throughout the track, and that Sector 2 is absolutely nailed. Let's see what the Williams can do as we head into the final main braking zone, past the DRS detection point number 3 for the race. Keep that noted, but using the battery to align, as he's going to get that DRS flap as soon as he can, wide open, and to align, it's pole position for Strike Moist, who's easily at the top of the times. He's 3 tenths clear, and the Williams is on top. Huge lap there for the Williams, and Strike Moist is your pole sitter for the triple compound Bahrain Grand Prix in the International Racing League. What a mega lap as Oons tried to grab pole position there, but no, not going to happen as Strike Moist heads to the top of the times. Very impressive stuff there for the Williams. 3 tenths clear at the top. ARL did get a lap in the end, but it was just on the medium compound tyres. Speedy Sport didn't get a lap in, and we'll start at the back of the grid. But Oon, your championship leader, is in P2. Charlotte in P3. Lone Star in P4, Iki in P5, Ashtube in P6, Razit in P7, and Takeyam in P8 after only 1 lap in qualifying. Beyond Deboa in P9, and Gaming Infinity in P10, and that is your top 10 and provisional point scorers for the race. If nothing goes wrong, and if it's a boring race like the Japanese Grand Prix in real life, but I doubt that's going to happen. And yeah, we'll see what can happen when we head into the Grand Prix. But let's see what can happen as Oon's current championship leader by about 46 points, if I'm not wrong. I think it's around there, last time I checked. Or about 50 points. 51 points, I think it was. No, 51 points, because I remember after 2 Grand Prix, that's what it can equal. But yeah, let's see if Oons can extend that gap at the top. But so far, also Haas dominating the constructors as well, with Ferrari in P2. But we're here at Bahrain. Overtakes very much likely, and with the extra spice thrown in with the triple compound Grand Prix, we'll see what will happen with the pit stop strategy. And what tyres that everyone going to start on? Is it going to be soft, medium, hard? Is it going to be medium, hard, soft? I mean, there's a lot of different tyre options we could go for. Are you going to want to leave the softs early, in the middle stint, or at the end? And that's a question the drivers going to be asking themselves. But at the end, obviously, when you have less fuel, it'll be easy to put in the much faster lap times. So yeah, we'll see what they can do and what the strategies are going to be like. And obviously, the undercut is quite mega around this circuit. Bahrain is known for its undercut, but yeah, first Grand Prix in 2004. And the maximum speed around here, 329.6 kilometers per hour, which is 204 miles an hour in the straight line. That's not very quick at all compared to other tracks. So you have to have quite a bit of downforce. It's a track that has a bit of everything. You have the hairpins, you have the low speed, you have the high speed at turn 5, 6, and 7, and turn 11 and turn 12. And then you have a lot of medium speed corners like turn 13, turn number 14, turn number 4, and turn number 9. Another high speed for you. Then low speed corners of like turn 10, a very tricky corner, especially for people who just turned OBS off. That could be ABS off, sorry, OBS. So yeah, it could be very tricky and easy to lock up there. And at turn 1 as well, another tricky hairpin, and turn 8, and another overtaking opportunity at turn 1 as well. It's the main overtaking opportunity. Turn 1, turn 4, and turn number 11. So we'll see what happens there as we get the race underway in a few moments' time. But the International Racing League all still heating up. And today, round 7, we've got 3 more after this: Jeddah, Interlagos, and Miami, which is double points. That could be huge for the standings. But Oons, who is at the top of the championship so far, not on pole position. And we'll see what he can do in the race to try and get back on that top step once again, like he so does. And it has done many times this season. 4 wins and 1 P3, 3 fastest laps, and 1 pole position for Oons. But can he make it a 5th win this season in 7 rounds? That would be incredible numbers for Oons. But the only other 2 race winners is Callum and Ricky Maru in P3 in the standings and P7 in the standings, as we're just doing the mandatory wait to get the race underway. And a lot of thought for the different strategies that are going to host us out there. But beautiful Sunday, and the track lit up, ready for some racing action. But who's gonna come out on top? Make sure to let us know in the chat, and let's have a look and see and hope for some dramatic racing action, especially with the DRS. It's 3 DRS zones up to turn 1, up to turn number 4, and up to turn number 11, which host some incredible battling like we saw earlier on. And so likes of Kimi Antonelli making some absolute audacious dives into turn number 1, and obviously the high speed straight into turn 1 into the heavy braking zone just infuses that racing action. As today, I'm sure we're going to see even more of that. But still, I think we've got about 14 to 15 drivers with us today, as a few did join late in qualifying, didn't able to set a lap time, and we'll start at the back of the pack. But lap record here, 31.4, still by Pedro De La Rosa. And nice in the chat, good luck everybody. These will be sorted by the next race, that's good to hear. But the fastest lap around here of all time in 2020, which is in qualifying, of course, the 27.264, which is an absolutely incredible lap by Lewis Hamilton in that W11. But it's a beautiful track. I do very much like the Bahrain International Circuit Insecure, designed by Herman Tilke, and cost about 150 million US dollars to construct, which is a lot. But I mean, to be fair, you'd think a bit more with a track like this, but still, we'll have to see who comes out on top. And 3 beautiful sectors. Sector 2, very tricky one, very long sector. Obviously, sector 1, you have 2 heavy braking zones, turn 1 and turn 4, where the main places to overtake is in sector 1. Sector 2, the tricky and most rewarding sector to get right as you head through turn 5, while turn 8 into the heavy braking zone there at the hairpin. Then turn 9 and 10, 2 arguably the trickiest corners on the calendar. Turn 11, another nice, pretty nice 90-degree corner there. The long right-hander at turn 12 as you head into sector 3. It's only 2 real corners. That's turn 13. The long right-hander there. And turn number 14, the final braking zone. Then pretty much flat from there as you head into another lap of Bahrain. But 3.3 miles and 154 kilometers this race will be, 95.77 miles. If it was full race distance, it'll be a 308.24 kilometers. And twice in a row, the car is unbelievable in quality. There's AJ. But pretty sure it is realistic as well, if I'm not wrong. Correct me in the chat. But I'm pretty sure it is realistic performance here in IRL. But it's my first time here. Hopefully can work through the pack. In the race, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the two main DRS zones, it's equal performance. Okay, good to know. But setups obviously make the whole difference. If you have a good setup around here as well, you need good top line speed. So you have to risk a bit of downforce for that. So yeah, it's always something to look out for. Is the higher speed setups, but obviously that leaves you innocent in sector 2. Both Alpines aren't in a good place. It's can still definitely fight for it. It's still absolutely fight for it. You never know what can happen. There's normally about a 20% chance of a safety car, I think, at Bahrain. I think I'm right in saying that anyway. I hope everyone enjoyed the Grand Prix as well earlier. Oscar Piastri. I'm literally wearing his shirt as well today. Oscar Piastri dominance, Maybar fans. And I wonder if George Russell just got cleared of that DRS opening thing earlier on as well, which was strange. I've never really heard the like of that, but interesting. Anyway, for the remainder of the season, Jeddah, then Interlagos. I mean, that's a great combination of tracks. That Jeddah, obviously, first of all, in Sector 1. It's just beautiful to get it right. It's one of them tracks that you can nail, and it's just absolutely perfect. Interlagos, Brazil, iconic. Always a good bit of racing action there on the run down to turn 1 on the CNRSs and on the run down to turn number 4. Then Miami, which is double points, is absolutely crazy. I did my final ever league race in Miami, but here we go then. Today here at Bahrain International Circuit, it's 5 red lights and it's lights out, and away we go. Strike Moist gets a fantastic start on Oon in the Haas, our championship leader, dropping back, and I think Chaz also going around the outside, going down to the inside. Is the RB of Ash Tube going down the inside, trying to make a double move on the Ferrari as well of Icky, but on the long run down to turn number 4, Strike Moist is 6/10 clear of his teammate Chaz, who did manage to get the jump on Oon. As that's Red Bull going slowly in the background. TKM in the first sector going very slowly on the runs turn number 4, so he might be just retiring that car. Not sure what happens to him, but it's a Williams 1-2. It's a fantastic start for the pairing as we head on the exit at turn number 8. Jack Moist is over a second clear, so even when that DRS gets enabled, it's not going to matter. It's been a fantastic start for the Williams from pole position, as in behind Icky's getting a bit fierce, went a bit deep into turn number 10, but heading on the long run down to turn number 11, you can see the whole pack there, and Chaz, the only man to break out of that DRS, and stay away from the DRS. Strike Moist is absolutely clear at the top. This is absolute dominance in this first lap for Strike Moist, but Chaz in behind. What can he do to keep behind? As this might be just all important for the championship to keep behind and at bay, as it could elongate him lifting that trophy for a longer period of time. But here it's only round 7. We've still got 3 more to go after this one and the double points of Miami. but it's been a fantastic first lap. Look at that, very deep from Chaz to try and deny the slipstream, covering that inside line. As you can see, the whole pack following to try and get that toe. And down the inside, he's going Ashtube on Icky for P4. Can he make it stick? The RB going round the outside and getting through. So lovely stuff from Ashtube on this lap. And now might close in on Un in P3 for the final podium place. But still, 27 racing laps to go. As Strike Moist 1.5 seconds clear on the softer compounder tyres. So is Chaz. We'll take a look at the tyre compounds because that might be also important in the race. If it lets me. Don't think it will. Never mind. But so far, what a start from Strike Moist and Chaz 1.8 seconds behind. Un also down there as well in P number 3. So we'll see what he can do to try and get through on Chaz and maybe lay down a bit of pace as close in on Strike Moist. But still, he was 3 tenths clear in qualifying. Now in the race, could be even further clear from the rest of the pack as we'll look at the position changes then. On the first lap, Chaz on 1 position on Un. It's a nice camera angle there underneath all the cars. But Un in P3 dropping that position. Ashtube up 2 positions. Lone Star down 2 positions. And Gaming Infinity up 3 positions up to P7. And Razzie down 1 position in the Kick Sauber. And up 3 positions ARL, Floyd Pink and Speeds Spud. But Un, can he try and make a move? As I think he might just be too far back. Defending well as Chaz must have a straight line speed. As we look at the tyre compounds, it's mediums for Un. That's one thing we have to keep in mind. So he's used that one set. He's got softs and hards to go. Is it going to be hards next, then the softs at the end? We'll have to wait and see for that strategy later on. But all still yet to play for here in IRL. And look how clear he is at the top. Strike Moist. 2.6 seconds clear. I've never seen the like in 3 laps, nearly a second a lap, and it will be a second a lap, I'm sure of that, when we get to the end of lap number 3 and the end of this 5.4 kilometre run. But Chaz just still keeping Un behind. Un on the medium compound in this for the long run. But still, I would like to see that pace of the Haas if it was all equal as it stands on the softer compound tyres. Ashtube also still, and Icky also in this train as Razzie heading the other train as well as Bjorn. Nearly out of a second is Razzie, but just closing in at turn number 11. Nice cornering speed through there for Bjorn, as that's what he needs to close in and keep that DRS. He might have just made a mistake. No, he's closed up even more. So yeah, Razzie might just be under a bit of pressure from that second train, but so far at the front pack, Strike Moist 3.4 seconds clear. Chaz defending like he can do anything out there. I mean, look at that tight line all the way up to turn number 1. Can Un make a move going around the outside? I think he absolutely can. Still defending it with the inside line. Now going around the outside is Ashtube getting the power down, laying the power down at turn number 3. The traction zone, he's done it pretty nicely. Still going to go side by side on the long run up to turn number 4. But Ashtube has that slipstream from Un ahead. And on the brakes, going round the outside. What a move from Ashtube and flying through surely as we head into Sector 2. What a move from Ashtube to get up to P3 as Chaz from P2 all the way down to P4. Gaming Infinity gets the first 3-second time penalty of the event. But what a move from Ashtube. Round the outside, fantastic battling, keeping it clean. All of them, Un, Ashtube and Chaz, as Un almost a second out. But now the medium tyres are going to come into favour surely soon enough when the softs degrade. But still, 25 laps to go. 2 more tyre compounds to use for every single driver out on the grid. And Strike Moist 3 seconds clear. But I tell you what, he's already made a few tenths up on this lap. Strike Moist, I think was about 3.6 seconds clear. So yeah, gap 3.1. Un made up 2 positions and definitely still in contention. And what are the pit strategies going to be for the drivers? At the minute, mediums for Un as the front runner Strike Moist comes into the pit lane and surely going to get rid of those softer compound tyres. But what's it going to be for? Un is let loose into the race lead. Ash, Chaz, Icky and Bjorn all staying out. I think everyone's staying out apart from Strike Moist, race leader, as it's going to be the first lap led on lap 5 for a different driver, which is the Haskar of Un. As we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what tyres he's went on to. Strike Moist going for the harder compound of tyres, so he's going to lead the mediums for the final stint of the Grand Prix. Is that the best option? I'm not sure. Is Oon going to go for hards on the next run and save the softs till the end? We'll have to wait and see. But still, many different scenarios for this front pack here, as they're going to have to alternate if they want to get through. Or the undercut is very powerful here at Bahrain, so we'll have to see what the drivers are going to do about that. And other likes of Ashtube, Chaz and Icky gotta go for the tyre offset. As running through turn number 11 and flying through turn number 11 is Oon, Ash, Chaz and Icky. Strike Moist already making inroads on TKM at the back of the pack on the harder compound of tyres as he leaves the mediums for the end of the Grand Prix. Not exactly closing in though to TKM, so maybe the hards still just warming up on this first lap out there. But Oon, followed by Ashtube, as using that DRS, is going to fly through. 4 attempts is that gap so far, and I tell you what, Chaz also very close to the back of Ashtube. He's going to go for the inside line at turn number 1. I don't think he is, so just going to have to stay behind, maybe wait for the run up to turn number 4. But so far, not close enough Ashtube, and not even made up a 10th really into turn number 1. So I don't think it's going to be close enough to make a move as we head up to turn number 4 either. But we'll head to the pack behind and right on board with Razit, as he's been overtaken by ARL and Bjorn de Boer, as he's made his way into P5 and got a really nice traction zone out of turn 4 actually. We head into the section and S of turn number 6 and turn number 7. But yeah, not ideal for Razzie. That's not the way he wants to be in the kick. Sauber was running quite well in P5, but Bjorn starting to lay down that pace and flying up in that Mercedes and taking that P5 back. But so far, Oon running quite well at the top. Strike Moist finally starting to make inroads on the harder compound tyres towards TKM, as we see him flying to turn number 6 there, out on the racetrack all by himself. Just got inroads to make and try and do this undercut and get these hard compound out of the way. As Speedy Spud, he's making a move. It's all chaos in this second pack, or his third pack, sorry. As the Aston Martin go down the inside is the Haas car. As we head to turn number 13, you don't see many into there. It's Haas versus Aston Martin. It's Spud versus Cayman Infinity. Still going side by side up to the final corner. As still behind that as well, the Mercedes and the Alpine also bending for position. Now going around the outside. It's a beautiful line from the Aston Martin and got the power down absolutely wonderfully. And still going side by side all the way down to turn number 1. Open that DRS. Cayman Infinity now surely going to be left alone, as without that DRS having to settle for P8 and has that penalty as well, which has to be applied after the Grand Prix is finished. But another move for Speedy Spud, and at the top of the times, Oon has finally been made. Every time I look away, there's always a switch in the lead. Ashtube into the race lead, Chaz into P2 and Icky into P3, and Oon has dropped all the way down to P4 on that last lap. So what happened to him, I'm not too sure. As still side by side, but no, can't make it on the exit of turn number 8, and gonna have to fend for this one out on the track. Does he have damage or anything, or is it just on track? It might just be the DRS move from the cars ahead. But Ashtube, another race leader, the third race leader of this Grand Prix, and into P1 as delighted out front, 6 tenths clear at the moment. At the back of the pack is Strike Moist. He's still in P12, starting to make positions up as Bjorn de Boer has already stopped. Floyd Pink also stopped in the Alpine, but let's see what Floyd can do in the next stint as well on the medium compound as well. What's Bjorn de Boer gone for? We'll see as he heads into turn number 11. I think that's a medium compound of tyres, which it absolutely is. So Strike Moist, the only one out there on the hards as it stands, as at the moment getting through is Icky. Oon on Chaz, as I think we have another pit stop, which is Chaz in the Williams. What's he going to stop for? We'll go on board with the tyres, as hard compound tyre for Chaz. 21 laps to go, and they've got to plan these pit stops accordingly. Ashtube leads the way on the softer compound tyre. Still got to pit for the hards and the mediums. Maybe it was the best choice to go for the hards early for Strike Moist, and yeah, I mean, we'll see how this pans out. Obviously, it shakes things up a lot. I think the first time they did this was in China, in Shanghai, at round 4, and that shook it up massively. with all the tyre strategies out there. But so far, people boxing for the mediums and the hards. And Lone Star, he's just making a move on Gaming Infinity on the route down to turn number 11. But yeah, let's see who makes this work. Only the 5 drivers at the bottom, which is both the Williams, Mercedes, both the Alpines, and the Red Bull of Take EM, all stopped, and the rest still yet to stop. From P8 upwards, as Ashtube leads the Grand Prix round on board with the second train, Speedy Spud, Lone Star, and Gaming Infinity. As Ashtube at the top, is he going to box? I think they're surely going to come into box soon as the softs die and fade away. As Oon lets into that race lead on the medium compound tyres all by himself, as that's Razzie in the background also coming into stop. So the front three all coming to stop apart from Oon's Co. And what can he do on the mediums to try and gap the rest or elongate this first stint, go for the tyre offset on the hards and the mediums? A 2-stop event here at Bahrain at the Sakhir International Circuit. And who's going to make it work? Strike Moist already, only 15 seconds behind the race lead. In behind that side by side with Chaz and Icky on the pit exit, on the route to turn 1, on the exit of turn number 3 is still very close between the pair. The Ferrari trying to make a move, but it's not. It's Chaz who still keeps it ahead on the harder compact tyres. It's a big slide though on the exit, and the Williams might just be able to fly back through, but no, can't just yet. And might have to wait that little bit longer. But Chaz seeming to struggle get these hards up to temperature. And hards versus medium. Sure, the medium's going to come out on top, but flying turn on in 10. Still too far ahead to make any sort of Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton S move like 2023. But so far, Ashtube already 8 seconds behind Strike Moist. So Strike Moist undercut, it just shows how powerful it can be on the harder compound of tyres. Absolutely clear, setting the benchmark so far as Oon comes into the pit lane, the championship leader in to stop for the first time, and still will have 1 stop to go after this with 19 laps to go. Still yet to use a softs. Is he going to go for softs in this next one? He is going to go for softs in this medium stint, so he's going to have to slay his best part of the race out now on the grippiest tyre out on the track, and will do the best. Look at how close that battling is in behind. Look at this side by side. We've got 2 battles side by side. It's Bjorn and Icky, Ashtube and Chaz, and into turn 1 we've got a driver coming out the pit lane as well. And into turn 1 is Bjorn and Ashtube who get through and put it bay by Chaz and into P4 as well. Ashtube into P5, but in behind Bjorn and Icky still fighting this one out in the Mercedes, going to try and make a move, go for the old up and under on the exit of turn number 4. Can he get the inside line? It's still side by side between the pair. RB versus Mercedes on the route down to turn number 8. He's held it round the outside. It's Bjorn de Boer who gets the inside line once again, and on the exit, can the Silver Arrow pierce any hopes of Ashtube getting that P5 back? It's still side by side as we head into turn number 10. It's still side by side on the exit. The Mercedes finally getting through in the traction zone on the route down to turn 11, as it's Bjorn de Boer who gets into P5 after a fantastic battle as they're both. Oh, we've got an instant behind. I think that's the Alpine and the Haas of Gaming Infinity and Floyd Pink at turn number 10, as that has just cost them any chance of points maybe with 19 laps to go. Strike Moist 4.2 seconds clear out the top, but Bjorn de Boer take a bow. What a move, and side by side battling. Fair play to Ashtube for not making contact. It was so clean between the lot, and now Bjorn de Boer might just have a chance to get through on Chaz in the Williams. He already is flying through, doesn't need no slipstream. Oh no, he isn't flying through, sorry. He's still trying to into the braking zone, going down the inside. Bjorn de Boer flying down the inside, last of the late breakers, and into turn number 2 and past turn number 3. Bjorn de Boer takes P4. It's been a fantastic lap for the Mercedes, and now into the top of that train. Maybe might set sails for Oon in the Haas, who's now 2.5 seconds clear and 3/10 behind JSC, who is still yet to stop 10 laps on those harder compound tyres, but still probably saving the faster, softer tyres for the end of the Grand Prix. But Strike Moist so far has led an absolute dominant race out front, 5.2 seconds clear. And Unsco, though, getting a nice dose of DRS on the route down to turn number 11. And we'll get through with absolute ease on the softer compound tyres. And now try and close into Strike Moist. It might be a crucial stint for Un on the hards, as still needs to box for the on the softs, as he still needs to box for the hards at the end of the Grand Prix in the final stint. But still, on the soft compound now, no excuse not to close in and set down some pace and catch up the Williams, who is running that stint on the hards and saving the mediums for the final stint of the Grand Prix. But it's been a lovely race from Strike Moist to head into turn one once again. In behind, look at that train. Nardi ran on board with Icky on the back, as you can see the RB. And you can see from the RB, the Williams and the Mercedes going side by side into turn number one. It's Bjorn still defending this play. Oh, that's a big spin. And that's Bjorn de Boer spinning away from the battle and spinning out of any P5 contention at turn number one. As that's a big error in the traction zone. As going down the inside is Ash Tube on Chaz into turn number four. But that's a huge spin for Bjorn de Boer, who was looking pretty good in this race, as that's his race all untangled and sent down to P8, battling with ARL_33. What a big mistake for Bjorn de Boer in the Mercedes after 2 laps of absolute success. Is now sent down to P8, as that is far from ideal and what he would have needed and wanted coming into the Grand Prix. But still can score some decent points if he gets through on ARL. And yeah, we'll see what you can do in the last stint. But so far, there we go. Another move in this midfield pack. It's Chaz making another move, who started in P3 and now making another move to get up to P4 and net P3, as JSC still yet to stop. Still, 17 laps to go. Just under half race distance. Jack Moyes getting close in on, as these guys so close together, so equal on pace. And they're just DRS swapping every single lap, as finally JSC Nutter into the pit lane in the kick Sauber, stopping for the first time in this Grand Prix. Still another stop yet to go for him. But into turn number one, it's outside line for the RB of Ash Tube. That's a lovely move on the traction zone. But on the exit, look at Chaz. Around turn number 3 with the optimal line in the Williams. Can he make the move again? Down the outside this time around, as into turn number 4, flies through again, but goes a bit deep, and that allows the RB of Ash Tube to come alongside again, but no, has to slot in behind, and that just allows Chaz to take... Oh! Has maybe just hit off the road there, or a big snap of oversteer, and now dropped at both positions, as there goes Ash Tube and Icky, and flying through at turn number 8. Did he make contact with the other cars? Heading down the route down to turn number 8, I'm not so sure, but goes wide and hits the curb. That's not the curb you want him hitting, as well on downhill elevation change. But Ash Tube is now into P3. It's an absolute ferocious fight for the final podium place. But Unsco is flying in P2 and slowly catching Strike Moist. So I would say slowly, but about a second a lap so far. There's Strike Moist in the Williams, getting close in on hards versus the softs, as the softs still grippy enough to close in a big margin, as there goes Icky in the Ferrari into the final braking point and at the top of this pack. But these guys behind it will have that DRS and sure they're going to fly through. Is Icky going to defend this one? I don't think he is, letting them through, both of them. But the question is Chaz going to try and make a move on Ash Tube into turn number 1? Going down the inside of the Ferrari is Chaz, still trying to keep it side by side. On the exit of turn number 2, he's got the outside line and now got a nice dose of slipstream from Ash Tube in the RB, as pulling up behind is the Ferrari and still going side by side. Can Chaz go all the way around the outside? I don't think he can. The Ferrari still got his nose in on the exit, as the Williams has a bit of a wiggle as well. That could have been unfortunate for him, but still allowing himself to keep at bay. As going down the inside, can he try and make a move? The Ferrari, I don't think he can, so has to settle for P5 on this current lap. But I'm sure when that DRS opens, to head onto the start-finish straight once again on the route to turn 1, it may just all change. But Strike Moist, still the gap, 2.1 seconds. Last time I checked, it's gained another second as Unsco. It's been a nice second stint. Needs to keep the advantage of these softs last for as long as he possibly can, as they're working absolutely beautifully for him, as the gap to Ashtube 11.2 seconds. So these guys at the front, it's going to be a battle between these two for the race win. And in the final stint, it's going to be hards versus mediums. Hards for Oon and mediums for Strike Moist, as he is getting his hard stint out of the way. As there goes Chaz into the final corner. Bit of DRS chicken here, as the DRS is going to go to Ashtube and Icky. But here we go on the main straight. Once again, it's Ferrari versus RB versus Williams, as down the inside is going Ashtube, then Icky staying behind this time around and going around the outside. Well, having the outside line is Chaz, but down the inside goes easily. Goes Ashtube back up to P3 as side by side on the exit. It's fantastic exit for Icky with a bit of contact, but still not enough for any sort of penalty concerns. But there goes Icky to take P4 back once again. This battle will never settle down, as it seems. But here we go, looming large in the mirrors of Strike Moist. There's the Williams of Unscoat on the softer compound tyres. You can just see how much confident he is with the grip in the traction zones as well. That's already another 10th gained. As so far the gap down to 1.4 seconds. This could be a fantastic final stint finish between these two, as the roles reverse in terms of who's got the grippier tyres. It will be Strike Moist, who will have the medium compound. But so far, Unsco winning very well in this second stint and winning fantastically to try and grab that place at the top of the podium. But who's going to be the championship leader or the new gun in the championship in the Williams? And can he do it? Can he do it? Can he win this Grand Prix on, I'm pretty sure, his debut as well for IRL? But Strike Moist still 2/10 away from letting Unsco in that DRS, as these guys behind still squabbling for position in the DRS once again. There goes Icky, and there goes Chaz as well. Here he is into your picture. I don't think he's going to get through though. As on the exit, oh, that's very deep from Chaz, and on the nearly spinning out there as the rear's sliding away from him, as I think that might have just been a lockup for the Williams. But far from ideal as we're heading to the braking zone at turn number 4. As yeah, not ideal at all for Chaz, but still well and truly in the fight, as he's still not dropped out of 1 second. But Unsco, it's close on the exit at turn number 10. I think he might just get DRS on the next lap, but it's very close. He's now going to get that turbulent air from the Williams, but still very, very dramatic final stint this might just be. Strike Moist leading the Grand Prix for all 16 laps, pretty much without the pit stop shenanigans, but still 13 laps to go, and one more pit stop at least for these guys. Well, for everybody else in the pack, no one's completed the demanded 2-stop strategy yet, but Strike Moist round the final corner, and he's allowed Unsco to get in that DRS. And the question is, when are these guys going to pit as well? Unsco is going to go on to the mediums in the final stint. I'll go to the hards in the final stint, and Strike Moist is going to go on to mediums in the final stint. As into turn number 1, the gap just coming down to 3/10 already. We'll look back and see these guys battling once again. Ferrari, RB, and Williams all coming together once again to host some significant battling. As there goes Ashtube once again. As we'll look to the front as these guys come to turn number 4. Unsco on the soft, Strike Moist on the hards. Who's going to come out on top here? I think it's still just going to be Strike Moist, so he's going to survive for another lap. But Ashtube leading the final provisional place on the podium, and still well and truly in contention is Icky and Chaz, as Beyond a Boa has retired. It's on track as well. We'll try and get a look in, see where that is. Oh, that's a crash. As you've seen the likes of that. Oh, nearly into that. Oh, as you can see, both front tyres off there. As Game Infinity just passes through, but that's a big crash of Beyond a Boa, and that's going to allow these two guys to get a free pit stop, and the rest of the pack as well. So there we go then. These guys are going to go on to the final allocated tyre. Mediums for Unsco, and mediums for Strike Moist, and hards for Unsco. But interesting stuff then for the safety car. It's going to allow everyone to bunch back up once again. Ashtube was 18.7 behind our leaders, and that just shows how quick these two have been. In the second stint, Unsco has been flying. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. Unsu? Oon. Let's call him Oon. Try my best. Strike Moist, though, leading a very good race on debut. As Oon in P2, wanting to take that 5th win of the season so far. And it's only round number 7. So let's see what else he can do. But 11 laps to go, and we'll have a fair few on the safety car as well. As staying out is Razzie in the kick Sauber. He's not going to take the lead. He's going to come out in P3, as he is still yet to stop for that 2nd time. So he's going to have to stop again. We'll have to check and see if everyone has stopped. When the safety car does come out, as Floyd Pink still, he's on a 3 stop strategy so far. So yeah, he's going to be bunched back up. He's got another opportunity in the Alpine to grab some points, but all well and truly to play for. Not just for the podium, but for the race win. Strike Moist and Oon gonna have a fantastic battle, I'm sure, in this final stint. But 11 laps, who is your money on in the chat? That's what I want to know. It's been a lovely race so far. Been a very lovely race, especially in the midfield. Ashtube, Icky, Gaz, all providing some absolutely fantastic racing. It's got to be said. Not with any of them making any sort of big mistakes, getting each other out. We obviously had that big spin from Beyond Boa, who's out of the race, and Lone Star. Both Mercedes, a double DNF disaster on Mercedes and the constructors. That sits 6th in the championship so far, behind Aston Martin, behind Racing Bulls, Alpine, Ferrari, then Haas, who lead the championship in the constructors so far. Well, we're going to have an absolute dramatic movie-like final scene, I'm sure, with Moist and Oon about to cook some absolute racing action. Safety car should be coming in on this next lap as well, so we'll have one more lap. Under safety car, as Raz had decided to come in to stop, as that was a bit of a glitch. So it was parked in the middle of the track for a second there. But no, the Kick Sauber is going to come in and be sent to the back of the pack, or maybe just behind Gaming Infinity and in front of Floyd Pink on that pit exit. There goes the Haas, and here goes the Alpine. You can see both of them side by side. The Kick Sauber on the left and the Alpine on the right. It's going to be Razzie who comes out ahead. And what tyres is he on? Is he on the soft or the hard? Oh, none. I was like the mediums. The mediums. That was a shock. But Strike Moist has just led such a nice race. Everyone finally has done the 2 allocated stops. And here we are, tyres for the final stint. Speedy Spud, the only man to keep the softs to the final stint. The rest are on hards and mediums. The only hard runners are TKM, Sticky Icky, and Oon, our championship leader. And can he lead the Grand Prix and cross the line in P1? We'll have to wait and see in a few laps' time. Well, 10 laps of racing action to go. It's a 10-lap shootout from here to the line. And let's see who can come out top. Everyone weaving to get heat into the tyres. But Speedy Spud should be sitting happy on the softer compound tyres. With 10 laps to go, he can definitely have that sort of race distance. And should be still effective with not that much tyre life taken out for quite a long time in the stint. Safety car's lights are now off. And the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So Strike Moist is going to lead us away. And let's see how good of a restart he can get in the Williams. It was a fantastic qualifying, 3 tenths clear, and absolutely fighting at the top all race long, all race calendar long for Strike Moist. And can he yet again like in qualifying. Just gap Oon. He's on the better tyres as well. Mediums versus hards, and the Williams coming around the final corners, getting that power down once again on Oon, and it's absolutely cleared so far. 0.8 of a second so far as we head on the long route to turn 1, as the Williams has got a fantastic restart to the championship leaders in behind. You can see how close everybody is, as one man we need to look at is P8, that Speedy Spud on the softer compound of tyres, but Strike Moist to a fantastic restart, nearly over a second clear already. Oon might be under pressure from Ashtube, Icky, Chaz, and ARL is already out of a second as well, as side by side goes Chaz on Icky. It's a nice move from Chaz and gets himself up to P4 on those medium compound of tyre. But so far, setting the pace is Strike Moist, then Ashtube, also second fastest man in that first sector, as Bud, he wants to try and navigate through the traffic as well, because he could easily get some really good points on the softer compound of tyres. He's got a big grip advantage over some of the drivers ahead of him. So he's going to have to see if he can fly through some of the drivers in the grid so far. But Oon struggling on the harder compound of tyres, and Ashtube, Chaz, Icky all right on the rear, with ARL having a bad restart, but finally getting back in that DRS range when it gets it open again. Speedy Spud, one man to look at. He's already trying to make a move on the softer compound tyres on that Red Bull of Takey M, as on the exit, can he get close enough? As I don't think he can, as we head into the final main braking zone once again. We've got some laddie cars in behind there, but we'll go back to the top then, as Oon is under pressure from Ashtube. DRS is now enabled, so it'll be enabled on the run down to turn number 4. But is Ashtube even going to need it as we head into turn number 1? He's going to stay behind anyway. Follow the detection point. Can he opt for the inside line? I don't think he can. So the RB is going to surely fight the Haas on the route down to turn number 4, as Strike Moist is 2.3 seconds clear with 8 laps to go. It's been a fantastic opening final stint for Strike Moist, as Oon struggling on the harder compound tyres. Ashtube, Chaz, and Icky. Icky's actually dropping off, though, to be fair, the back of Chaz, but he is on the harder compound tyres as we head into turn number 8. You can see the grip difference and the line taken by Chaz compared to Icky. Struggling to keep the rears at bay as well is Icky. But tell you what, Speedy Spud has just made that move on TKM in the Red Bull. So can Speedy Spud try and speed his way past ARL and close up to the back of Icky? Could easily challenge for the top 5 positions. And I'm telling you now, it's not still safety car conditions. That is still the timing tower bugging, just like it did in real life early on today. But Oon well and truly under pressure this time around. You can see the camera angle on the exit of turn number 13, how close it is. You can see the rest of the pack still in that DRS, all the way down from P2 down to P12. Apart from JSC, who might have just lost it into the final corner. Strike Moist is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Oon is now under pressure from Ashtube and Chaz as well, as we head into turn number 1. The championship leader may just be under threat, as Ashtube in the RB diving down the inside on the medium compound of tyres and still trying to hold it around the outside is Oon. Still going side by side on the exit. It's fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing, but I tell you what, Chaz has now been allowed with the optimal line to fly through on Oon, and maybe can he go down the inside on Ashtube? I don't think he can. Still keeping side by side though with Oon as well. So on the exit, it's still side by side as Oon's still fighting around the outside at turn number 6. It's fantastic from Oon. What a defence. And I tell you what, he's like a brick wall, this man. Doesn't allow him through easy. And it's fantastic to keep him at bay. Lovely jublet from Oon. And still going to fight Ashtube, I'm sure, in that DRS and try and keep that final podium place. And keep Chaz behind, as ARL still on the back of this one as well. Gaming Infinity, the only man to spray that DRS down in P9. And he might be under pressure from Razzie. And especially with that 3-second time penalty as well. Might just drop out of the points, so Gaming Infinity needs to try and get a move on if they want that final points place, or at least P9 where they are. So we'll have to wait and see what happens to him at the end of the Grand Prix. But Strike Moist, 5 seconds clear. What an opening stint this is for the man who grabbed pole position on debut. What a absolute asset he has been in this race weekend. But so far, Ashtube, Oon, Chaz, ARL, Icky, Speedy Spud, he's now on the back going side by side, or round about of him, as there goes Icky. He's seeing that Aston Martin, the British racing green car, fly to the inside line and absolutely fly through on the softer compound tyres, and now up to P6. If he can get a move on, you never know what he can do in this final stint as well. He's using a lot of that battery as well, try and close into likes of ARL to try and make a move as well. But here's Chaz's POV, and there's Un, and there is Ashtube, who's at the top of the top. As Bjorn said in the chat, why is he on a safety car? There is not. It is just a visual glitch. Yeah, the game's gone in it. The game's gone. It's the final game cycle. As yeah, it is not a safety car. It is green flag running, but it is just a visual glitch. But heading into turn number 10, Ashtube, Un, Chaz, ARL, Speedy Spud, Icky, TKM, all still in this training. Going down the inside is Chaz at turn number 11. Can he make this one stick? As he's still side by side between himself and the championship leader. Going now round the outside and taking that inside line is Un and still flying through, but in the braking zone. Can he try and go for a dive at turn number 30? You don't see many there. I think we've seen one so far this race, but no, so far no good. As Gaming Infinity into the wall. That's at turn number 30, and that's another safety car. As you've got to argue, did he do that on purpose there? Because he was right in the wall. He didn't move for quite some time, but yeah, car is still on there and is still going. It's Strike Moist. Oh no. Our race leader into the pit lane has retired from the Grand Prix. Interesting scenario, but Strike Moist is well and truly out of this race. So that our leader for most of the race, who was 5 seconds clear before the safety car came out, is now out and won't be scoring after a fantastic pole position. But what a nightmare. Ashtube is now allowed a chance to win this Grand Prix. He's still yet to win this season. He sits P4 in the standings, but you never know. He could just be on the top step once again. Is anyone going to come in for the softs as well? We'll have to wait and see. But still, a 5-lap shootout to the line. Who's going to win it? We'll have to wait and see. Well, now there's another safety car after the visual glitch for quite some time. But these guys in the top 5 didn't pit. I think Spud still with the advantage on the soft 6-lap-old softs now, but it's now been allowed to save them a little bit more, which might just benefit him for grip in the final stint. But Ikit, TKM, and both the Kickstarters, Floyd Pink and Gain Infinity, all on the softer compound of tyres, and being allowed to join to the back of the pack once again. But it could be an intense shootout to the line. Is it going to be Ashtube, or is it going to be one other man out there? Is it going to be Un, the championship leader? Is it going to be Chaz? Only time will tell. But we'll have another lap on the safety car, and I think we might just get underway after that one. But this race filled with absolute drama, as we've had a fantastic midfield fight. And that midfield fight had just been allowed to fight for the lead. At one point, I didn't think there was going to be a chance of that at all, as Un and Strike Morris was absolutely clear. I think the gap was about 16 seconds before that that first safety car did come out. So yeah, now Un under pressure from the guys around in Ashtube, our race leader. Everyone has now used all the allocated tyres as well. So, heading to turn 9 and 10. At the moment, under safety car conditions. Be an interesting Bahrain Grand Prix, as Ashtube has done such a good job so far this race. Being the race leader as well right now He's been fighting so cleanly with the likes of Chaz and Icky. Briefly was beyond Deboa as well, as he sadly spun at turn 1. Then after that one, had an incident just out of the final corner. Here we go then. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap. So for the first time, I think this season as well, Ash Tube is going to lead the way after this safety car. So what can the RB do? Keep the championship leader behind, to keep Chaz, ARL, Speedy Spud on the softs. And the guys behind that have all stopped again for a fresh set of tyres. It's going to be a 4-lap shootout from here to the line. Who's going to take it right? Who's going to take it? And who's going to bring it to the top? As Ashtube taking it as late as he possibly can. And Ghost Lines, I think that's the Kick Sauber, opting for the pit lane as he's lost a bit of front wing as well. He gets a 10-second time penalty for collision under safety car conditions. But Oon going to the inside line and fighting for position with Chaz, who's Chaz already trying to make a move. But Ashtube clear so far and clear of any potential threat of an overtake from Oon as we head up to turn number 4. But Oon's under pressure from Chaz, who's right on the back, pretty much pushing him, pushing that rear wing of the Haas to try and get through as well. But Ashtube into turn number 8 is 5 attempts clear, and all he needs to do is try and get out of DRS and push on his medium tyres compared to Oon's hard. But that's going to be pretty hard to do. This guy is the championship leader in behind, and still he's going to fight, I'm sure, from here to the race victory line. As who's going to take it? It's going to be Ashtube, Oon, Chaz, Speedy Spud already making up one position on Icky, and up to P4. Can he try and cause a threat, the likes of Chaz and Oon, and get himself on the podium? As that'll be a fantastic result for himself, as he still has that 1 P3, and that's his highest scoring position in IRL history. But here we go, as we head onto the route into the final braking zone of the lap, as the DRS will get enabled on this next lap for 3 laps to go then, as it's going to be Ashtube who leads us again with Oon and Chaz. Who's going to threat this one on the route down to turn 4 is when we get that DRS wide open. Chaz is going for a move as well, down the inside, or around the outside it will be for the Williams versus the Haas, as getting the power down again at turn number 2. It's now around turn number 3. Can the mediums grip enough on the Williams to try and get enough, as he's got that slipstream as well? He's going to have to take the outside line at turn number 4 and now go for the switcheroo, but a bit of contact made with the back of the championship leaders. Can in behind, Icky and Speedy Spud going side by side, but the man on the softs prevailing in that Aston Martin. But still in behind, we've got the Red Bull of TKM and Icky also fighting as well. But Speedy Spud, he's also trying to go for a move on the Williams into turn number 10, but he's not close enough to get side by side. Still, 2.5 laps to go. Ashtube 5 attempts clear. But Oon in that DRS to protect him from Chaz, who's been threatening to get through in the early stages of this final stint. As Ashtube is just doing enough to stay well and truly ahead of that battle at the moment, as Chaz threatens once again on the route down to turn number 13. Heading on the power once again. It's going to be a dramatic final few laps here at the Sakir International Circuit. But this track just provides overtaking drama. It provides drama overall with 2 safety cars, as we've had the 3 tyre compounds used from every single driver out there, even more by some. But covering the inside line is Ashtube. He doesn't want him to have that slipstream, does Oon? As still for that inside line. Now go for the inside line is Chaz. On the route down to turn number 1. Is Oon going to try and move on our race leader Ashtube, who could potentially get his first race win in IRL history? But here, on getting his power down at turn number 3 again. And Oon and Chaz might just go side by side. Can Oon go to the inside line of our race leader Ashtube? Round the outside goes the RB with the inside line is the Haas of Oon and gets into the race lead. But we're going still side by side with the RB. But no, Un has got it back. He takes the race lead into turn number 8. As going side by side, going for the double move is TKM on Chaz as well on the exit of turn number 8. He gets through in the Red Bull. And I tell you what, he's in a great position to fight further up. But it's a penultimate lap of racing here at Bahrain, here in round 7, here at the triple tyre, double stop strategy only, as Un is leading the Grand Prix, but Ashtube is going to have that double dose of DRS heading on to the final lap. And who's going to take it? Is it going to be a 4-time race winner this season, championship leader to get his 5th race win? Or is it going to be Ashtube as TKM? He's also trying to go from on Speedy Spud, who's trying to keep him there, but he has a 3-second time penalty. That might massively impact him for the latter stages of the points. He needs to get a move on in his final lap. But here we go. 28 laps of intense drama. One more to go as we head 5.4 kilometers left on the clock as it's Un, then Ashtube. Is he going to go for a move into turn number 1? He absolutely is on the braking zone to try and get his first win. Un, oh, that's a big collision now on the rears as we've got collisions behind as well. Speedy Spud, I think, lost his front left end plate as well. Big mistake from him. But on the route down to turn number 4, is Un going to go for a move? We're on the outside. It's Haas versus RB. It's the Un who gets through once again. And it's a fantastic move at turn number 4. And that just might allow him to take the race win. TKM, he's right on the back of Ashtube as well into turn number 8. Is he going to go for a move? Right on the outside, nearly pushed off the track there and nearly a collision made. But Un versus Ashtube, it's Un who comes out on top. 5 tenths clear as well, surely for safe as we head into turn number 11, especially as TKM is putting the pressure on Ashtube as well. But Ashtube, it's a day of what could have been, as it could have been his first win this season and could have put him up there into P3 in the standings and challenging Un and further up into P2 as well. But what a race from Ashtube as well. We can't not credit it. He's been fantastic today, but not enough from Un, who on the harder compound tyre, the trickier compound tyre to get more heat into and the less grip out there, has been absolutely phenomenal as TKM go for a move into the final corner. He absolutely can do it into the braking zone. He's flying through. He's got a 3-second time penalty anyway. But here comes Un for the 5th time this season in the triple compound race. He takes the win once again. 5th time this season. No worries. And what a win for Un. The championship leader extends further at the top. What a race. Round 7. It's Un who takes the win. Wow, what a race victory there for Un. What a win. And to be fair, the man who had thought you'd count out heading into the final stint, you can never count him out after that safety car. It's a day of what could have been for Ashtube. He still takes P2 out on the track with all penalties included. And in P3 is the Ferrari of Icky as well, who's worked his way up onto the podium. Fantastic podium for himself today. But what a victory for Un. As a photo, literally so close at the end into the final lap there. But what a race. What a victory for Un. The American takes his 5th win of the season and extends his gap at the top of the championship. Ashtube takes P2. Phenomenal race from him as Icky takes the final place on the podium out of nowhere. Fantastic race from him. Speedy Spud from P14 on the grid takes P4. 10 positions in the race. What a race for Speedy Spud. And that's what he needs in the points spell. Currently P8's in the standings and now taking another great result which will push him up even further. Chaz takes P5, TKM takes P6 after that penalty applied, finish P2 on track. Floyd Pink takes P7, Nutter takes P8, Gaming Infinity takes P9, and the final finisher is ARL, who takes the final points place at the final actually classification finish for the Alpine team. Razzie, Strike Moist, Bjorn and Lone Star are the non-finishers. But Strike Moist, it's a day of what could have been. Phenomenal race from him, but retired in the pit lane. Heartbreak for him. But what a race. And what battles we just saw there. And what a win for that man at the top once again. But I'll see if we do interviews here. I don't know if we do. Let me just get that one sorted. But yeah, fantastic race there from Un, the championship leader. Exactly what he needed and to extend his points at the top. Still, 5 wins in 7 rounds. That is phenomenal stuff. and you just can never count that guy out, even after everything thrown at him. What a race here in the International Racing League, and what a race win, what a battle, and success at the top once again here at Bahrain for Un. Congratulations to him, and see what I can do moving forward. 3 rounds to go next, and we'll see you in Saudi Arabia.